What is the stupidest way you got a scar? Kid in the church nursery hit me in the eye with a plastic carrot. It was 40 years ago. I've still got a scar. I was in a cornfield and grabbed a cob of corn to throw at a friend. The leaf from the cornstalk went between my middle and index fingers as I released the throw and sliced the webbing open deep enough that I could see my tendons. That was 25 years ago and I still have the scar. Someone said the knife is for cutting tape, so it won't cut people, and I checked. Was playing a Ms. Pac-Man machine in a laundromat. Inky snuck up on me. I flinched, need the padlock on the coin insert, blood everywhere. Cool scar, but damn you Inky. My foot was itchy so I used a hunting knife to scratch it. When I was 10 I wanted to cut a coconut with a big machete and on the first try I hit my thumb. Luckily I didn't hit it too hard, but I have a permanent scarf on my thumb now. Change the light bulb standing on a glass coffee table. Yep, I fell into the table. I stuck a hand between the gears of my grandmother's sewing machine while it was running. Ouch. I couldn't tie my laces as a kid and liked to walk with my hands in my pockets. This led to me tripping over my laces, no hands to protect, and landing face first onto a stone step, the corner of which went right between my eyes, leaving a small scar where my monobrow grows. Got a fishing hook in the side of my finger. My immediate reaction was to pull away. That was the wrong reaction. Not a big scar or anything, but definitely stupid. Added it to add because it's funnier. I also have a small mark, barely noticeable unless I point it out, on my leg. Friend got a new dartboard but hadn't set it up. What if we just use the box just now? You'll hold it first. Now have a reminder that I'm a moron sometimes. Edit 2. Hello Microsoft. Sam reads Reddit YouTube videos. Dripping burning plastic on my hand to see if it would scour. I was holding a super soaker reservoir bottle underwater at a lake to fill it up. It slipped out of my hand and shot up out of the water, hit me in my lip and split it open all the way through to the other side. Needed stitches inside my mouth and right below my bottom lip. Got a small scar from it. Skating down the roof didn't come as planned. When I was about 12, we had a new kitten at home and it scratched my hand. Not deep at all, it was just a kitten scratch. Being 12, I thought it would be really cool to have a scar and kept picking at it for days, on purpose. I'm now 38 and I have a cool scar on my hand. No regrets. The headrest of our bed was made of solid wood and had curved edges. It was wide enough for a 2-year-old, me, to sit on, and I used to love sliding off it. Well, one night I sat on it to slide as usual with my legs on either side. My leg on the bed got stuck between the pillows and I fell face first on the floor. Got a cut on my forehead which required 6 to 7 stitches. So I tried to sharpen my right index finger with those small pencil sharpeners in kindergarten. 10-year-old me shredded too hard on a razor scooter. I was 8 and ran into a doorknob. I now have a small doorknob-shaped scar beside my nose. When I was little my father brought me some Weetabix with piping hot milk. A spoonful fell on my ankle and had a scar ever since. Lol. Dumb 6-year-old me makes a little tower of pillows, jumps at the tower of pillows, makes wrong calculation of jumping position, and instead of hitting the pillow tower, he hits the headboard. I got a cool scar though, without permanent brain damage, so it's a nice trade. Burnt my arm on the side of an oven tray because I took it out with the wrong hand and had to cross over to shut the oven door. Left an inch-long scar that took a painful 2 weeks to heal. I reached down to finger my ass but scratched my arm on a wooden plank. I have 3 scars from my dog just playing with me. Put my hand in a toaster to see what happened. What happens is that you burn your fingertips off. It hurt like a motherfucker. I found out so you don't have to. It has healed nicely so is barely visible any longer, after 20 years. I have a scar on my eyebrow from my brother hitting me in the head with a belt while he was pretending to be Indiana Jones. Held packaging in my palm and tried to open it with a knife by poking it. Not my proudest moment. I burned myself with mashed potatoes. I was playing with a hot spatula in the school laboratory and burned myself. It hurt so bad that my friend didn't know how to make me feel better, so she took the same spatula and burned herself. 6 years later, and we have twin scars. Fairground test your strength hammer and bell game. Hit it so hard the rubber mallet came back up and hit me in the face. Now my smile is asymmetrical. Did it in front of most of my company. Now I'm known as that guy. Age 8, on the beach. Dad, don't climb on that rock, you'll get hurt. Me dash, unamused face, climbs rock, a wave hit and I slid down the side of the rock, cutting my leg to shreds on the shells. I was just a baby, but this guy broke into my house and tried to murder my parents. He shot something at me too, but it must have ricocheted and back at him and killed him. I was left with a gnarly lightning bolt scar on my forehead. In high school aged 11, I gave myself a chicken scratch, Scratch yourself in the same spot until you bleed. I've still got the scar on my hand. Got a string tied around my ankle to see if it was strong enough to hold me back when I ran. It was not. The scar circles my ankle and hasn't changed in 20 years. Shaving my pubes. Yeah, you heard me. I was eating pizza rolls in the buff, and when I bit into one of them the filling fell out the other end and onto my chest. By the time I was able to get the stuff all the way off, my skin had bubbled. Scar is roughly the size of a nickel. When I was a kid I'd been watching Dukes of Hazzard with my grandpa. We went out to his Buick and I tried sliding over the hood like they do in the show, but got caught on the hood ornament and sliced a huge gash in my leg. Boarded an unfit city bus. Exposed sheet metal cut my arm and left a 4-inch gash that exposed yellow fat underneath. Drunk and tried to poke holes in pot for a pot plant with knife, missed, stabbed myself in the finger. Carrying bags of broken glass bottles for recycle in my pickup truck. One of the bags slipped away and made a small but deep cut in my left arm. The worst part was that it took days to get the wound closed and finally start to heal. In 1983, when I was 6, I fell down the stairs and hit my arm on a giant 80s stereo that my parents were using as a baby gate at the entrance to the steps. Smashed the glass door and I got a 2-inch long scar that runs up and down the inside of my right wrist. In high school, I had 2 teachers notice the scar and thought I had tried to cut my wrist in a suicide attempt, and I was asked to attend counseling. I ended up having to have my parents write a letter on my behalf and show them like pictures of me when I was 7 or so with the same scar. All my scars are stupid. I have a big cheek scar from when some DK at school slammed a door handle into my face, almost lost my eye. I have a scar on my foot where I dropped an X on it. And I have a scar from an ant bite in kind of the shape of the ant. I was shredding cabbage by grating it over a blade and suddenly found a reddish shade after some time. Turned out I sliced my finger a few grates previously and have been bleeding like a finger hose. It took 4 band-aids to cover the wound cause 3 got too soggy to even stick home my finger. I lost a bit of flesh and the skin that healed over it still looks transparent. I was 12 at that time. Opening canned beans. And not once. I was climbing on a playground ladder and the wood was rotten. I fell through and a large nail caught in my leg as I went down. For the longest time, when people asked, I would look at them straight-faced and said I had gotten into a knife fight. I was like 12, very petite, very quiet. Still have the scar. Held half an avocado in my one hand and a knife, serial killer style, in my other hand and stabbed the avocado to remove the inside. It obviously slipped and I stabbed myself in the hand. It was quite deep and I didn't feel like dealing with it, so I just put a drop of glue in the wound, stuck my skin back together and never looked back. Now I'll have a tiny 0.5 cm scar in my hand. It's been about 8 years. Wish Al had better stories to tell though. 2 years old, danced, hit my head on a table. 3 years ago, I spoke out of turn in front of my general. I have shamed myself. He burned the left half of my face, and scarred it physically, just as how he scarred it emotionally. As I was banished, I was scarred again and found my true self. I got a scar from losing my honor and another for redeeming it back. I was holding a hand router trying to do some woodworking. Classic story of thinking I could get away with a quick unsafe thing to save time. The end of the hand router turned and the blade attached to it spinning at 7,000 RPM grabbed my glove. It pulled the glove off my hand while digging into my thumb and all the way around to the back of my left hand. Little super glue and I was fine. I was home alone in 4th grade and didn't know how to make any food, so I found a can of pineapples. I couldn't find the can opener though. So instead I used a big-ass Michael Myers knife. I was 70% done cutting the lid open, when the knife slid off and sliced my middle finger open. 2 things to note: I don't even like pineapples. I found the can open when I went to grab paper towels for the blood.